In San Francisco, the city's so nice you'll step in poop twice. There's an area where homeless people were urinating and defecating, and it was starting to annoy the people breaking into cars. So the city tried to build a public toilet last year, but then gave up when the cost hit $1.7 million. Not $1.7 million for a public toilet system, $1.7 million for one toilet. It's no wonder that in 2021, San Francisco issued only 2,000 permits for new homes. Sure, there are people living in the streets, but that's because we want to make sure the apartments they don't live in are perfect. I don't fear AI anymore because it couldn't possibly be any more robotic than the humans who run things now.
Now Bill Maher has turned his fire towards San Francisco, and his verdict is ruthless. The fearless comedian takes direct aim at Gavin Newsom and Mayor Daniel Lurie, accusing them of draining the city of its character and strength. Maher's critique is sharp, relentless, and unapologetic. If you're here for bold commentary and unfiltered takes, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in.
San Francisco in the last few years has seen 11 Walgreens and 6 CVS stores just give up and close because that town seems simply beyond law, which is heartbreaking because I, like so many people, love that city, and I don't think it's corny to admit, yes, I left my heart in San Francisco. Also my wallet and iPhone.
Maher doesn't sugarcoat anything. He describes a culture of open lawlessness where people casually walk into stores, take what they want, and stroll out without fear of consequences. This isn't isolated shoplifting anymore, it feels normalized. He also highlights the surge in car break-ins, painting a picture of smashed windows and ransacked vehicles left behind as symbols of a system in decline. But what angers him most isn't just the crime, it's the silence and lack of action. When order collapses, he argues, the message becomes clear: rule-following citizens are no longer the priority.
Area citizens have been complaining in recent years about all the human feces in the streets, but now the streets are full of something else. They call it San Francisco snow. It's glass, piles and piles of shattered glass everywhere from car windows being smashed. It's so routine to have this happen to any parked car that people purposefully leave the windows down and the glove compartment open so thieves can see there's nothing of value. Or they leave a note on the car politely assuring the thief that there's nothing worth stealing and please don't break the windows.
The chaos raises a blunt question. Why does this seem so common in San Francisco and other major California cities? Maher points to state law. With theft under $1,000 often treated as a minor offense, he argues the threshold has weakened deterrence. Criminals understand the limits, and they exploit them. The result? Theft becomes routine, enforcement becomes optional, and accountability fades. When the law signals leniency, Maher says, it encourages bad behavior instead of preventing it. Instead of protecting everyday residents and small businesses, the system ends up cycling repeat offenders back onto the streets.
What is so disturbing here is not just that there's more crime and mayhem, it's the audacity of it all. Like there's no lines anymore that can't be crossed. Like don't walk on a stage during a live show.
What shocks Maher most is the boldness. In his view, the boundaries in San Francisco have vanished. There's no more sneaking or hesitation, just open defiance. Walk in, take what you want, walk out. Smash a car window, search through it, move on. No urgency. No fear. That confidence, Maher argues, is learned behavior. When consequences disappear, audacity grows. Over time it spreads, businesses retreat, residents grow numb, and disorder starts to feel normal. The true danger isn't only the crime. It's the normalization of it.
The police still need reform, yes, but we can't just allow them to be hunted and targeted for assassination, as has happened over 100 times in 2021. I know there are big issues behind crime, like income inequality and racism that need to be addressed, but let's not get so wrapped up in becoming great again or building back better that we forget not to become El Salvador.
Maher then makes a firm case for supporting the San Francisco Police Department. He argues the city cannot restore order while restricting the very officers tasked with maintaining it. For years, he says, police continued working despite falling morale and shrinking resources. But instead of support, they became political targets. The push to defund the police wasn't just rhetoric, it led to budget cuts, staffing shortages, and hesitant enforcement. According to Maher, you cannot demand safety while undermining the people responsible for delivering it.
He tried to build a public toilet last year, but then gave up when the cost hit $1.7 million. Not $1.7 million for a public toilet system, $1.7 million for one toilet. And this wasn't some magic toilet that catches your phone when you drop it.
Shifting focus, Maher addresses sanitation, specifically what he calls the city's notorious poop problem. He argues it has become a visible symbol of deeper dysfunction. From sidewalks to subway areas, the issue is hard to ignore. Maher ties this directly to the homelessness crisis, claiming officials have confused inaction with compassion. By failing to enforce basic public health standards, he argues, the city has allowed deterioration to become routine. For him, a city that cannot keep its streets clean is a city that has stopped taking governance seriously.
Then a private company took pity on San Francisco and offered to build them their toilet for free. But after, quote, project management, construction management, architecture and engineering fees, permits, civic design review, surveys, contract preparation, and cost estimation, the free toilet was still going to cost almost $1 million. You know, if you tack on fees like that, you're not a city, you're an airline.
Maher highlights bureaucracy as the deeper disease. He points to a widely discussed example, a proposed public toilet reportedly projected to cost $1.7 million. Not a luxury project, just a single restroom. Even when a private company offered to build it for free, the estimated costs remained staggering due to permits, regulations, consultants, and administrative layers. Maher argues this is California governance in miniature, good intentions buried under red tape. The system, he says, protects its procedures more than it solves problems.
It feels like San Francisco is actually proud of being impossible. Asked about the toilet, a spokesman for the Department of Public Works said, "We are a city of public input." Okay, but I'm stepping in public output. The median time to get approval to build a house there is 627 days. That's 217 days longer than it took to build the Empire State Building. You need 87 permits, 15 from the Planning Commission, 26 from the Public Utilities Commission and the Fire Department, 19 from building inspectors, 17 from the Public Works, 10 related to public spaces, and 1 from a guy in a t-shirt that says Federal Inspector.
In Maher's view, San Francisco has become nearly ungovernable under its current leadership, from Gavin Newsom to Mayor Daniel Lurie. He argues the system they oversee is tangled in endless approvals and committees, creating bottlenecks that stall housing, infrastructure, and basic city improvements. Problems are debated repeatedly, yet solutions rarely materialize. Meanwhile, crime intensifies, streets deteriorate, and costs rise. For Maher, when optics and ideology take priority over results, dysfunction becomes standard operating procedure.
It's no wonder that in 2021, San Francisco issued only 2,000 permits for new homes. Sure, there are people living in the streets, but that's because we want to make sure the apartments they don't live in are perfect. I don't fear AI anymore because it couldn't possibly be any more robotic than the humans who run things now.
Maher delivers a blunt takedown of what he calls a rigid, by-the-book style of governance. He argues leaders have become trapped in routine, unwilling to rethink policy or adapt creatively to new challenges. In his assessment, this inflexibility has accelerated San Francisco's decline, allowing crime, homelessness, and infrastructure decay to accumulate unchecked. Instead of bold reform, he sees incremental adjustments that barely move the needle. For Maher, this is not minor mismanagement, it is a leadership crisis.
Just as an exercise in realizing how far we've regressed as the can-do people, I think we should all try to imagine how it will go down if we tried to sculpt Mount Rushmore out of a mountain today. First, we'd have to make the mountain handicap accessible, so we could hire handicapped people to work on the side of a mountain. Then there'd be a 10-year delay while we studied the effect of construction noise on the mating habits of woodchucks. Then another 10 years to obtain ethnically sourced dynamite and find a sculptor who doesn't only work from home.
In closing, Maher paints a stark contrast. San Francisco was once celebrated for innovation, beauty, and opportunity. Now, he argues, it struggles under crime, homelessness, and bureaucratic paralysis. From theft enabled by lenient policies to sanitation failures and stalled development, he believes leadership bears responsibility. But his message isn't purely pessimistic. It's a challenge. The city can recover, he insists, if leaders prioritize practical solutions, restore law and order, and cut through suffocating bureaucracy. And that's where we wrap up today's breakdown. If you found it compelling, hit like and subscribe for more.